I've been going to the gym for about maybe 4 or 5 years. And whenever I first started, my goal was to get jacked. I'm going to get shredded. I'm going to become Eren Yeager. Because I was watching anime. I was like, that's when I was a new anime fan. And I had the hair like Eren Yeager at the time. And I was talking to my e-girlfriend on Valorant, who I met during the summer of COVID. And that's when I started. That was like my first year at the gym. And I was like, I'm going to get shredded. I'm going to get jacked. And then she was like, yuck. And that shattered me. But I still wanted that goal. Which I don't think that's relevant to the story. But my point is that I've told myself so many times in terms of my fitness journey, my health journey, that I want to look different. I've always had an issue with how I view my body as someone who's kind of been relatively underweight most of my life. And my first year I went to the gym, I gained like almost 30 pounds. I was like 105 pounds and I got up to like 133 in a span of like 4 months, which is kind of crazy. But then I kind of fell off. I kind of maintained, actually went down to like 120. And I think over the last 2 years, I've kind of maintained like 125-ish or so. But I still don't think, at times, it's hard for me to notice like the differences that I've made within my physique. And I think a big part of that comes with consistency. And there's been so many times where I get back into my motivational cycle, and I'm like, I'm back in, I'm locked in. And even like in my journal that I write in, like I have so many entries where at the end of it, like I need to look sexier, I want to look sexier, I want to look better. Because I feel like I can do more, and I want to look better, and I want to, have a healthier body and look better and feel better about myself. And I want to, be able to go to the gym with like my significant other. I think that'd be a fun thing to do. And I've just, there's been so many times where I'm like, I'm going to get back into it. I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this. And then when it comes to it, I don't do it. And when you constantly tell yourself that you're going to do this thing and you don't do it, it really hinders your confidence. And it's like, how can I actually know that I'm going to do this when I've constantly told myself that I am, and then I don't actually follow through with consistency? It's funny because there's been so many days where like I've made a video or I've said something like, oh, I think I've got it figured out now. Like, oh my God, I start going in the mornings again. This shit's the best. And then like 2 weeks later, I'm like, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna switch back to going after work at night. And then I get off of work at night and I'm like, and then I just make excuses. And I always think a big part that comes into play, and not even just with like the gym, and I kind of want to transition into another point, mainly about fear. I think part of me is kind of scared to stay committed, to stay consistent, to make that change within myself that would leave my old persona, my old kind of personality, my old mind telling me like it's good to be comfortable. Because so many times I've chickened out of staying consistent because I'm just lazy. I don't want to make this step and actually be disciplined and make that step in and becoming someone new, becoming that person that I want to be, because I've become so comfortable in who I have been. And obviously it's good to be comfortable with who you are, but when it leads to like yourself not being fulfilled and not, being at ease or at peace within yourself and your own kind of monologue and how you view your physical appearance, you kind of have to like, it gets to a point where you're kind of like, okay, what's actually best for me here? And for me, I think fear is like a big component in that. And I was watching The Bear season 5 the other day, and there was this quote that really came up, and it's within this sense of like how fear is the mind controller, and it kind of gives you a perception of like, it limits your, like how much you think you can put into something or how much you can feel a certain emotion. And fear kind of runs rampant throughout your mind, and it kind of controls how much you think you can feel a certain expression or emotion. And I've realized that there's been so many times where I've limited myself in terms of like how far I think I can go, or how much I think I can feel of a certain emotion, when I'm constantly reminded of the human spirit and the human experience every day, every week. When I experience a new emotion and I'm overflowed with a new emotion, or that same emotion that I haven't felt before in a long time, and I realize that I don't really have a limit to these feelings and these experiences that I have. And there's been so many times where I tell myself, I can't do this. No, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this. I can't do that. And because of that, it's kind of hindered my confidence and abilities to believe in myself. And I definitely think I'm a person who lacks confidence. And because of that, I think because it's because of fear. So many times when I've tried the dating apps, there's like a bad bit, there's a bad bit, and I really want to shoot that shot, but then I'm just like, I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I look good enough. You know, she's going to the gym every day, and I'm just here looking like a skin bone, 125-pound looking ass. I don't think she'll like me. And so I send like a like, but I'm kind of like, oh, I hope, she'll like me. But even then, like, if she were to like me, I would still kind of feel insecure about myself, and that would kind of hurt her as well. And so there's just some unresolved sort of sense that I need to fix within myself to kind of get over my fears that I've kind of let control myself. And this could be within my anxiety and nervousness and stress and so many different things that I have let kind of dictate my emotions and feelings, and it kind of has led to me to anticipate and predict myself easier. I know what I'm going to do now because I've put such a limit on what I can or can't do that I've become so predictable. I say this so many times about myself, but I've kind of lived in a world where I try to anticipate everything. And it's so easy when I can kind of put a limit on how I'm going to feel on a certain thing before I experience it. And there's been so many times where I go into an experience trying to predict what happens, and I'm wrong about it, completely wrong about it. And that's like one of my favorite things about being human, is I'm never going to have the answers to everything. This idea of awareness that I've preached that I have so much, it's more so just being aware of my insecurities. And I don't want to be like aware of everything anymore. I kind of want to forget about things. That's why I started drinking. Am I right, guys? Only took me 25 years, but I'm glad I started. But anyways, when I really think about wanting to become a better person, wanting to take the next step, and trying to take more control and action in myself and who I want to become in my life, it's crazy to me when I realize like how much fear has actually played a part in controlling myself. And there's so many micro expressions and micro interactions that I can go through in my life where I realized like, wow, I've been scared to do so many things, and I'm scared to kind of be consistent and scared to make that change. I don't want to be like a bodybuilder per se, but I want to look sexier. I want to look sexy when I'm naked. And I was talking to somebody who I went to go to the gym with about a month and a half ago, and I was like, yes, man, I'm taking control of my groceries. I'm trying to go more often because I only go a few days a week because I got some health problems recently where I already have arthritis, which so I kind of feel weaker in a sense. So it's kind of hard. It's physically harder for me at times to lift consistently, so I kind of space it out. But I had a segment where I went back-to-back days and I felt really good. And that's when I was talking to that guy, and I was like, yes, I'm doing this. I'm taking control of my diet, bro. I'm gonna lock in. I'm gonna be so good. And ever since I said that, I haven't been to the gym in a month. I haven't. I mean, work's been fucking me so hard though. Like Raquise have been skull fucking me so hard at work. So I get off of work and I'm like, ah. But even then, like, I'm still making excuses for myself. And I haven't been to the gym in a month. And part of me is kind of scared to go back because I'm now going to start over and kind of get that progress that I kind of lost in myself. And there's just so many times I will be like, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to lock in and I'm going to be better. And it gets to the point where, like, I've said so many different things, and this is not just about going to the gym, but so many different things where I'm like, I need to do this, or I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get over my blah, 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 blah. And I don't. And then I'm here. And then when I go to sleep at night, I feel empty. Because part of me wants to resolve myself, but part of me still wants to sit in my resolve of staying the same. And it's like, how do I actually get over the edge? I try to find the new motivational quotes or the new breakdown of how my emotions actually work. And then once I think I figure it out, then I can go forward. But to me, it always comes down to the same thing. You just got to do it. I just got to do it. Right? That's kind of like the biggest, I think probably one of the biggest keys of my life is just not doing enough, not experiencing enough, not putting myself in a position to learn more about myself. Because when I've conditioned myself to kind of live in the same, to take the same paths every day, to really, I don't really travel too much. I made a video about this like 6 months ago saying I don't really go out and like really go to new places. And so my routes and my ways are the same. Everything's the same. It's conditioned to the same universal map where it's not really too big. My horizon hasn't been broadened. So in a sense, like just my mental, even my mental fortification has just been predictable. It's the same. It's similar. It's nothing new. And so when I'm kind of stuck in this protection of these walls I built up so much, it's really hard for me to break through and kind of open up my brain to the beauty of this world. Because I do want to travel. I do want to go. I've never left the country before. I do want to leave America and see what it's like in England, or watch a Premier League game, or go to Italy or Australia, because I do want to see a koala in person. That'd be very cool. And all of that is in my mind. Like, I want to experience it, but I'm scared to go out and get my passport and do all these different things. And so I just have to do it. I just have to put my feet down and do it, because I haven't. I can't magically just solve the answers in my mind without doing things. And so, will I be going to the gym today? Because I didn't go this morning. At the time I'm recording this, I think there might be some friends coming over, so I might skip this one. I'm sorry, guys. And then I have grocery shopping tomorrow. We'll see. I need to come up with a better plan. Try to follow my diet more. Be more disciplined. Be more motivated. I guess not in like an actual like David Goggins sense, but more so like being consistent with like a schedule or a routine. Because I think I feel pretty good when I'm in a routine. But sometimes you just have those days where like you want to talk to your friends longer when you don't really get to see them, or you with your family watching a show, or there's just different things that come into your life that are unplanned, and you kind of need to take advantage of those moments while you can. Because when I'm 25 years old and everyone's kind of growing up and having their own lives, in a sense, you're not really going to get that friend time as much when you're getting older. So I'm trying to take advantage and cherish those moments while I can. I just had a fun night last night, playing some Codenames with some friends, and playing that game where we write a little paper on your name and you try to guess who you are. And I was the Papa John's guy yesterday. That was my last word. So I'm trying to enjoy life, but also trying to want to be better, want to feel better. So I think one of my biggest pieces of advice about this video is to try to unlearn your fear. Trying to do better. Understand that all these limits you've put on yourself, you'd be surprised how many times you've really gone out and done something and impressed yourself. These limits that we put on ourselves and our feelings and how we think we can express happiness or sadness or anger, there's not a limit, because you're going to go through something and you will learn about yourself in ways that you'll never even be able to imagine or anticipate or prepare for. And that's the beauty of life, is learning about yourself in ways that you can't comprehend, because your mind doesn't have all the answers. I've tried to give myself all the answers in the world, but I don't have them, and I'm glad that I don't. Thanks for watching, YouTube. We gained 2 subscribers since last video, so we're at 64. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. I enjoy this type of content. I just do uncut videos where I'm at work right now and at lunch, about to go back to work. And yeah, just taking a breather, trying to enjoy myself, because mentally I've been hard on myself, and I just gotta deal with it. But see you guys in the next one.